Let's get some Brazilian fart porn in there. Oh, that's got it. Oh! Oh! Oh!
What the hell were you thinking?
Well, obviously, I wasn't thinking very well or very much.
Alright guys, so you may remember a man named Jeffrey Toobin who works for CNN, and back in 2020 he was caught on a Zoom call stroking his mushroom tip. He thought the camera was off and he decided he needed to release while on the call. And so today, or yesterday as I'm recording this late at night, CNN's Jeffrey Zoomin Toobin defends White House's narrative on Ketanji Brown Jackson's sentencing guidelines for child porn cases. And Ketanji Brown Jackson, first of all, I don't know why they needed to throw her skin color in the middle of her name right there. We already know she was going to be a person of color. No need to add the brown in between Ketanji and Jackson. A little unnecessary, but anyways, she is the Supreme Court Justice nominee, and Josh Hawley was kind of grilling her about her light sentencing for child porn cases, and now Jeffrey Toobin comes out in defense of it, of her, I should say. Let's check this out. This is CNN. Jeffrey Toobin on Tuesday defended the White House's narrative on Ketanji Brown Jackson's sentencing guidelines for child porn cases. Hawley on Monday confronted Judge Jackson to her face during the hearing and ran through 7 cases where she was lenient on pedophiles. In every child porn case, Judge Jackson handed down a lenient sentence well below federal guidelines. CNN dragged out Toobin, the dude who got suspended by the New Yorker for exposing his penis during a Zoom call with his fellow magazine colleagues to defend light sentences for child porn cases. He was one of the best people for the job to come out in defense for her. People who committed these crimes would order individual photos and get them through email. This was all pre-internet. Jeffrey Zoomin Toobin should sit this one out and turn his camera off. But, okay, here's a tweet from townhall.com saying, "You can't make this up. CNN's Jeffrey Toobin is defending the White House/media narrative on sentencing guidelines for what he calls kiddie porn cases. Quote, people who committed these crimes would order individual photos and get them through email. This was all pre-internet." Let's check this out.
Can I just add one point about these kiddie porn cases? And this came up, I remember, when I was an assistant U.S. attorney back in the 90s, is that when those sentencing guidelines were written for those cases, this was a time when the people who committed these crimes would order individual photos and then get them usually through email. And then they would be sentenced based on the number of photos they possessed. This was all pre-internet.
He said that they would get it through emails, but then also this was pre-internet. How does that work exactly?
So once the internet came in and people got access to hundreds and then thousands of photos, the sentencing guidelines would reflect hundreds and then thousands of photos. Federal judges have been struggling with the issue of how do you create a fair system that was designed pre-internet, yet you have to sentence people post-internet. And what I thought Chairman Durbin pointed out is that judges across the country, including Republican-appointed judges, have been saying, look, we can't apply the rules that were designed pre-internet for an internet society, and many judges have been giving somewhat less sentences as a result. And I thought that was a very clear explanation of why Judge Jackson imposed sentences that were all prison sentences. It wasn't like she was letting these people go, but they were somewhat less than the guidelines because the guidelines had not been adapted for the internet era.
So if they got them through mail, through regular mail, it was what? I don't understand where he's trying to go with this. It's completely retarded. but he was getting roasted on on Twitter here. This is the tweet that I was just showed you, but in the comments, how is email before the internet? Toobin seems to be an expert on the subject. Shocking. Does anyone know why he wasn't charged for indecent exposure? Yeah, good question. It is still photos of children involved in sex acts. The delivery system should not matter. Think about the lives of the children being destroyed. And then, whoa there, buddy, where's your other... Oh, phew. And you could see his hand was down there. People getting a little worried. But yeah, this is a pretty hilarious take from Jeffrey Toobin. It's fitting that he's still working at CNN. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you would. And until next time, I'm out.